all the different uses that go on that sidewalk, the bikes, the people walking their dogs, the strollers, etc. And also I've heard very little discussion of how the plantings are going to affect people's access to their car. Not just on Sunday, but what about the rest of the week? Because you can't get a woman who's out of a car with a stroller, you have to walk 20 feet along the linear planting to come back to your car, because there is not room to, along the side, that 18 inches to move, really. So I'd like you to consider some of these aspects of this project. Thank you.
I could have spoken standing up because I'm short enough, but that's okay. Hello, HLC members. My name is Deborah Healy, and I come to you as chairperson for the Santa Barbara Arts and Crafts Show Advisory Board community, and I am representing 200 members of the show and the consensus of their opinion. I'm also a member of the public and community that likes to access the beach other times of the year, and other times of the week, excuse me. I'm a little nervous. I want to take this opportunity I wanted to make this point about the opportunity we have to make the sidewalk area more beautiful. We want it more beautiful too. It's a project that's very important to us, and a project that we think needs to be good, and it should be good for everyone. We were under the understanding that the plantings on March 21st, when we came and spoke, we as a whole had a meeting prior to that, an advisory board meeting, and we came with the understanding and spoke a lot about the lamppost planting to you on March 21st. Because we understood from the meeting prior to that planting around the lampposts was what the grade curve area was going to have, and that there would not be planting in between. On September 5th, I attended a meeting and noticed that now that the spaces were there, the spaces marked, I noticed planting was in between the lampposts, which takes out a much bigger percent of our free access type of access to our spaces and to the beach for the public. So I'm very opposed to that, and so is the rest of the Arts and Crafts Show, 200 members. We also suggest that, since we also want this project to be beautiful and have a vested interest in that we feel the lamppost with the climbing plants is very attractive and can be very colorful, without taking away where the grade curve is of free access. And I feel that the footprint for the lampposts should not be more than 6 feet maximum footprint. We now have 15, and we are totally opposed as a group to planting in between the lampposts, which now, instead of affecting 20 to 30% of our parking, is affecting 70%. It's a huge difference from what we thought when we came on March 21st. And it's a misunderstanding, and I want you to know that we are totally opposed to that. Although we do want the area to be beautiful, and we would like to see color also. I think it could be achieved with a very simple solution of planting around the lampposts in a climbing effect, which also can be more visually seen from the road and also attractive when you're on the sidewalk. Low planting along that area is not that visible unless you are actually out on the sidewalk. So I think twofold, we want you to know that we support change, but we also support our position, and we will follow through on whatever needs to be to help our position. I have grandchildren that like to access that area, and I would not like to see my daughter with 3 children in her big SUV trying to get her kids out of the car on the traffic side of the street to access strollers, toddlers, bicycles, and alike that I've seen her trying to do in that area. So That's the end of my comment. I hope you will take this all into consideration, that the area needs to be historic to some degree. It also needs to be updated to the year that we're in, 2007. Thank you very much.
Nadine Garrett?
I actually was asked, Garrett is, I'm sorry, Marilyn McCorkville, also advisory committee member.
Okay.
Ms. Garrett is handicapped, so she's asked me to turn in a letter on her behalf.
Great.
And I won't read it, but I will tell you that she discusses that she's disabled, or should I read, may I read it?
Just give me the main points.
She's
yeah.
disabled, and one of...
Speak into the mic.
I'm sorry. Ms. Garrett is disabled, and nice to see you all.
So just give your name for the record again. Your name again.
My name is Marilyn McCorkville. I'm speaking on behalf of Eileen Garrett. And one of the areas of plantings that we weren't even aware of existed until September 5th ends up falling right in front of her space. So her entire access to her car will be blocked. She's on oxygen. She's required to use oxygen. She's older, and we're all getting older. So we actually, this will go into the record as we have wanted at least 3 people who are handicapped, where the plantings are ending up in front of their space, and she asks please not to plant.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. That's the lamppost planting.
Actually, I have a chart for you of the 3 known handicapped people at this point.
Okay,
With
we
their
can see and
space
we'll talk about
numbers.
that in a second.
We
Okay.
need to identify their numbers. Ms.
Okay.
Garrett is 116 and 117.
Okay.
Also, on the plan, the very first handicap space is missing. It's identified as a red, at least last week it was, so we have to correct that. Oh,
Okay, you're going to leave that note. for-
yes, I must have given you Randy Hillard. I have 2 letters for people.
Yeah, that's the next one, Randy Hillard.
Yeah, so
Yes, okay.
Ms. Hillard space falls in the tiny little red section that we missed the last time that we need to speak about. It's so tiny, it's not worth arguing about, and the services up to at least 10 people in the thriving middle part of the section need to load and unload, and that's the part we missed. All we need to do is peel back 18 inches and put a walkway through there.
That would be
So
the same
that's that
comment-
letter.
The same comment for Randy Hillard as well.
Randy Hillard is her space is in front of the tiny little red section in the middle of the show that crosses over to the park. That's a separate issue. So she writes in regards to that issue,
Okay.
is once that's fully planted in, she and about 10 other people will be unable ever to load and unload to this space.
Great.
So we have handicap and then blocked access in 2 different places.
Very good.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. And John Lapont, I'm not sure if I read this correctly. Lapont, I cannot read your writing. I'm sorry.
It's John LaPointe. Okay, well, I'd like to say first that I agree with most of the concerns of my fellow show members. I wrote a few brief comments myself. At the March 21st meeting, we urged the committee to reduce the amount of landscaping planned for these beach parkways. Many valid concerns, such as the safety of people trying to exit their cars through the proposed landscaping, were expressed by craftspeople and artists in regard to the dangers such plantings would create for show members and the public. We strongly urge you to consider reducing the amount of landscaping in the parkways. It's not a sustainable concept given the amount of people using the area, and would simply waste tax dollars while creating a danger to the public.
Thank you very much. Next person is Marilyn
Loperfido.
I cannot read. Okay, Marilyn.
It's great, I let him sit on my side. Good afternoon, members, everybody, esteemed members of this committee. I hope you'll understand, this is a difficult situation for us. I would like to, we had a special meeting on September 5th where the revised plans that you see before you today were brought to us, but we